Winter's coming. I hate winter. You know what?
Yay! Everybody else is miserable and I'm not.
I'm fine with winter if it means winter break.
You are way too happy about this, Shiori. You know what I need right now? I need someone who can relate to me in hating the winter period and how I long for the warm, beautiful, less clothing required days of summer.
Oh, so heat miser.
In that case, I got just the news for you. Turns out Anne agrees with you there. Because this is episode 45 of Anne of Green Gables, 1979, longing for the summer holidays.
Okay, if the song "We're All Going on a Summer Holiday" isn't in this show, I am gonna. I'll be so disappointed.
Publicity.
My mind immediately went to the Beatles with the way you said that title.
Nah, I think it was Cliff Richard that made it.
All right, we already know how this works, so let's just get going. 3, 2, 1, click.
So anyway, it's another chapter of a book.
It's
specifically
funny.
The past. Go on.
So Anne's like heat miser, and they both had red hair too in regards to their preference of the weather.
Yeah, the one that she loves the warm weather. That's gonna be the key thing here. Whatever hair color you are, that's what time of year you prefer. Shiori's hair is bright, so she prefers the bright white snow. I have black hair, so I prefer days that are a bit darker, but not exactly too dark.
Darker, yet darker.
Yeah.
Oh no.
To answer Teo, it's based on right now we're covering the chapter. The past list is out. Basically, we're still dealing with Anne really wanting to get into Queen's College, so she can eventually graduate and become a teacher.
Boy, Anne, you're certainly taking that whole "I nearly died in my schoolroom" thing well.
I mean, this is only the opening sequence.
Considering also the time period, Java, this kind of shit was kind of the order of the day. So
I don't know, Teo.
From
well, yes. I know it was more common, but the way that Ruby was reacting, you'd think it was her first time nearly dying.
Probably.
Episode 35, longing for the summer holidays. What happened to your face?
Wait. So that means that.
Pencil mileage.
Draw the instance.
Far away shots. Gotta cut corners somewhere, Dwips.
Wait, hold on. So it must be spring now at this point.
Yeah, remember, a bit of a time skip.
Yep. Well, remember, Joe, but that doesn't, longing for the summer, that doesn't necessarily mean that spring has come. Yeah.
You know, Diane, after you nearly die from cold, it changes you forever, and you never feel the same again. You look at people different, like they are but snowflakes in the wind, needing to be released from life's cruel embrace.
Song.
Oh.
It's supposed to be more melancholic because that's the thing, Dibs. This is also these episodes are also remember this is after the big realization of Anne about people choosing their future stuff. This is starting to become a transitional period in both the anime and the book. The part where Anne's innocence and kid-like whimsy starts to vanish to
again, like I said, nearly died.
And eventually, to give you guys an idea, Shiroi, there's going to be a point in this book where she stops calling it Lake of Shining Waters and calls it by its actual name, Barry's Pond.
Like I said, nearly dying changes a person.
Yeah.
Gives them a real sense of mortality and everything.
Yeah.
Japan is really in love with this kind of concept of the loss of innocence. If you know anything about Shigesato Itoi, he puts it everywhere in his works as well.
That's because, remember, Isao Takahata is one of the most influential Japanese animators, and he himself is in love with that.
I wonder if it all can be traced to the tragic events of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, which left scarred hundreds of thousands of people. Maybe there is that.
Including Takahata, the reason he made Girl with the Fireflies is because he and his sister were there in Japan during that happened, and his sister got injured as a result of the
bombing.
Yeah, so obviously Takahata's movie is partly inspired by real facts.
Okay.
I didn't nearly die to not make it through.
Next
And they
scene.
didn't tell her. Okay.
Yeah, we don't. So yeah. For all I know, the answer could have been, we don't know the reason why you're here. I don't know, to think about how think about how sad your lives are right now. Whatever.
They're afraid to ask, like they said.
So I was looking into Takahata's filmography. And I thought this was his last TV show, but no, it was another show called Chie the Brat.
I already brought that up earlier, but yeah, this was his second to last. Although of all the World Masterpiece Theater shows he did, this is his most well known because it's because Japan loves the crap out of this thing. Like this is regarded by them as like one of the most influential animes of specifically for the slice of life genre.
Experience has told me to inspect whenever she's not making a racket. It's part of the tragedy of my life.
I mean, she could be taking a nap or something.
And do you think you're
dying?
And do you think you're dying again? What's this? Taking a nap? That's unheard of for our dear Anne. Boy, I remember when I was young enough to think of naps as like glorified timeout sessions or whatnot. Nowadays, if anything, naps are times of respite.
No pressure.
And if you fail, you will all be shot.
On sight.
Yeah.
Remind me to never to put you in any position of authority.
Eh?
Why are you looking at me like that?
Everybody's staring today. Oh.
Oh.
Someone is enthusiastic.
So that's what they were worried about, her leaving.
Ha 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 ha.
And then she dies later.
Okay, now who's being morbid?
But don't you see, it would teach you about how tragedy can strike unwarned about.
Mind you, it's a good job. Actually, I'll agree with Pedro. It is a good job I'm not writing it because otherwise, I would write it so that Anne dies and then
what? Not yet.
We have to replace the main character. Oh bullshit! We didn't get holidays that lasted 2 months in school.
Well, this was a different time, Debs.
Anne, what's wrong with your face?
I have one.
Mr. Kondo had to spare some money.
Yeah. So on occasion, I lose my eyes and
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah.
This was before they could use digital techniques to cover up these bits.
Yeah.
You know, I do wonder.
there's pros and cons to every method of animation.
You know, I'm curious, Pedro. Why is it that when, of course, they made an anime of the prequel, why did they choose the prequel instead of one of the actual sequels when they made that newer animation?
I have no idea, Jova. I would love to have a World Masterpiece theater adaptation of the second book as well. I have no idea why they picked the prequel specifically. I'm guessing the director of that anime really wanted to do something different instead of doing the obvious. Maybe he didn't want to have a proper sequel to this because he knew it would be constantly compared to this classic, so it would be always in the shadow of this one.
Wouldn't that
so I'm guessing
it's weird though. Wouldn't that have? Didn't he think that would have the same era with a prequel? Like, despite what some people think, prequels do tend to get compared just as much as sequels do. So
well, Jova, in that case, I have got nothing.
It's a shame our World Masterpiece Theater still afloat, or
no?
They closed.
No, they had a short revival in the late 2000s where that prequel anime happened, but unfortunately, it didn't do the ratings Nippon was expecting, so it quietly died again.
That's a shame.
I think it was more Fuji Television, but yeah.
Well, whatever. Whoever was responsible. In general, because I know that Nippon Animation makes the stuff. Whoever distributes it, that's a whole other thing.
Well, now all is right in the world because Anna's happy again.
And nothing wrong can happen at this point.
Well, actually, Theo, we're gonna spend a good chunk of episodes without anything bad happening, actually. In fact, it's actually more Moroa who's going to start having a bit of slightly less happy moment, but not for the reasons you might think.
Should I be pressing X, Pedro?
Not quite yet, no.
Can't keep up with all of this.
Press X to doubt.
You're lying, Anne. You never going to do your duty.
I just love how doubt pretty much turns into outright accusation in that game.
Yeah, there's good cop, bad cop, and accused now.
Probably for the best.
Like I told you, over here we prefer to have good cop, really nice cop. Like I said.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah.
Yoto, sure, of course. There's no way Anne could possibly get tired.
An episode where Anne's tired would be a really weird episode.
Well, Dwebs, if you know your tropes, you should probably know where this is going, what they're building up with this.
Anne's gonna try and stay up all the time, but she's going to run herself ragged.
All the school blows up.
Damn.
Why would the school blow up?
Someone got really careless.
Because Takahata's still traumatized over World War II. I don't know.
He made a different movie for that.
Yeah, he did.
Something is going to happen. I can feel it.
Not like I said, Joe, but not quite yet. Eventually it will, but not for now.
Oh.
You were saying?
Well,
Heart failure.
Hold on. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one thing that I did remember from the first time I watched this. Yeah, but this means. But this means he doesn't have to exercise too much. Yeah. Yeah.
That's going to be the death of you someday, son.
Listen to your doctors, kids.
When does he,
See, Jova, not the teacher, Matthew.
Maybe she needs a bit more sunlight.
I mean, she does spend a lot of time in the fresh air.
I get the idea what the doctor means is that she too doesn't have to overstress.
I mean, you just asked me that.
I was just warning you, madam. Come on, calm down.
Wow, a doctor telling a schoolgirl to forget about her school books for a bit. You just know that that would be the practical dream of so many kids in elementary school.
That's the thing. Anne, as you're gonna see, she studies quite more than your typical kid.
God, she's burning the midnight oil, isn't she?
Yeah, that's also one of the reasons she's sleeping more during the day.
Burning the midnight oil is... hell, it's, look, even in college, that's not a healthy thing to do. Just pray that she's not passed out over there at that house. Matthew.
Oh, that's Matthew.
Please, it's not like it's gonna kill me or anything. Yeah!
It's also important to remember something that's very common with old people. Matthew has always been a farmer. That's all he knows.
Yeah, some people just cannot stop doing what they've been doing the entire life.
Yeah. It's kind of the same thing with Marilla. Marilla even said this like back in episode 20 when Anne wanted her to take a whole day rest and everything because of her headache, and Marilla even said, "Yeah, I can't stand laying around too much. Like it makes me ill. I just like keeping busy." So there are literally two old people who are very set in their routine, basically.
Yeah.
Plot twist, she was there all along.
Oh boy.
But what if it goes everywhere and blows all over the place?
Pray that she doesn't have allergies. Ah, down by the beach.
For a second, I thought this is going to be a dream sequence where they're on the beach, but then the warnings
Quentin,
of school
we
hang
get
over
it.
their heads in the sky, and the wave of stress goes over them like that.
Metaphors. Well done, Dwibs.
Again, you know, if I wrote, be honest, if I wrote Anne and Vinny, how would that be compared to
Probably
the
more
actual
entertaining than the actual product. I will say that. Also, the animation
Whoa.
became slightly different.
Hold on, when did we step into Gundam all of a sudden?
We had those couple of extra frames, I guess.
Well, remember, like I'm pretty sure it's a stylistic choice. Like, not to mention the filter is supposed to showcase, the heat wave and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, not just
Either
that, though. Like
or
the animation looks like it suddenly jumped up a scale here.
Yeah,
and
I mean, did they lose a few frames of animation over the years, and they had to redo it?
Well, it's nice that you're getting more fresh air. It doesn't get much more fresh than being by the open sea.
Shame I'm not near the sea. I mean, Landudna's not too far, but it's still pretty far.
Again? Oh boy.
Yeah, this is not the first time. Remember, that was the whole reason they wanted a boy, so...
True that.
This also shows the dark side of the consequences of Marilla's decision in episode 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we've said, yes, Anne brought a lot of joy into their lives, but now the decision now is having its repercussions.
Is that a repercussion of it though? Because he did get an extra hand to help around still, like...
he did, yeah, definitely. But imagine now if he had both Jerry and a potential boy, to two people to help him.
I'll admit, I'm of the mindset that Matthew probably still would have worked himself to the point where he was getting heart attacks because
it's also
like you guys mentioned, he's just that stubborn and well, it's all he knows really.
It's also a matter of inheritance, Jova. Anne does not know nothing about farm works. Jerry is just a servant that he works occasionally there. He's still not there enough the child.
Oh no, I get that, but let's be honest, guys. Even if they had gotten a boy who could help out with it, do you think Matthew would have lessened his workload to the point where it wouldn't endanger his life?
But I'm referring to what Pedro was mentioning, the consequences of choosing Anne over actual boy.
I don't know, Aiko. I feel like this would have happened even if they had gotten a boy, honestly.
No, I can see what Joba means. Matthew would have been stubborn and everything, but with two people helping, maybe we could have lessened the impact a bit. Oh yeah, and now Marilla and Rachel are getting nostalgic a bit. Yep.
Yeah. I also didn't notice how Anne's actual model did change a bit to reflect the growth.
Oh no, trust me too. Takahata specifically told the animators to slightly change Anne over the course of the series to showcase her growth.
Yeah, it is true, but I just didn't notice. It's the frog in a hot stew effect.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and that's the great thing too. Like the growth, the physical growth of Anne is done very gradually in a very natural way to the point where you don't even notice it because it's just done so naturally, pacing wise.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can tell, Takahata made it a lot of thought into every episode. Okay, how much should we grow Anne into at this point?
And their answer was yes. Anne of Today, would that be the name of the modern day remake of this?
It's okay. Yeah, we're going to have to decide what to do about the story club because it's not gonna be able to last anymore.
We will pass it down to the next generation.
Yeah, this is also
Out of Green Gables, the next generation.
This is a very important episode specifically because of it. It literally is a transitional period where the show starts transitioning from being, well, okay, it's still a coming of age story in regards to Anne, but now it also deals into Matthew and Marilla's arc about what it means to be a parent, because now, like in this case, where they're trying to hide their bad health for the sake of Anne.
Mm-hmm.
You know. So this is going to become a transitioning period where things are going to start changing heavily around here. All right, that's it. That's episode 45. Dwebs.
It was all right, and I didn't think we'd be starting Matthew's health problems this early, but
it's early. Like, aren't we past the halfway point of the series?
Way past at this point, actually.
Gables does have a bit of a point because, again, my personal Mandela effect was that Matthew started having heart problems way later, almost close to the end of the show. More close than this, I mean.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing too. If you go back and watch the episode 1 again, you'll notice that he specifically, Marilla specifically says that she's worried about his health, that he's getting old. So from the very beginning, Lucy is already building up to this eventually.
No, I didn't mean that. It was just, again, a fake memory that I had. Go on, Dwebs.
Well, that's about it, really. I mean, that was the part that mattered the most. Matthew's health problems. All the rest was fine. Although, again, I still call bullshit on people having 2 months off school for a holiday.
19th century, Dubs. 19th century. Go on, Chiri. Sorry, are you done, Dubs?
Yeah, I'm done.
Go ahead.
No, that was a good episode. It's
Foreboding.
it was just
Foreboding.
I guess, yes. I mean, we already knew like a lot of this stuff anyway, so
I know
it's
my
fine.
plots well.
It's it's a really good episode, and it's that's it. I got nothing else.
Jova.
It was a good episode. Again, I see my predictions of Matthew are starting to come to fruition, so yeah, there's that. That being said...
Jova, it wasn't exactly a hard prediction to make, let's face it.
And that's something I was able to call relatively early, but yeah, I mean, it's usually, of course, the father figure who dies first, then eventually the mother figure, then the protagonist grows up, has the children and all that, and then grows old themselves.
Till this all this time, Jova, remember what happened to poor Joseph?
Yeah, Joseph.
So basically, Jova, life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I will say this though, seriously, the animation bump during the beach scene was something. Like, it literally looked like we got transported into Gundam with how the art style actually looked like it took a bit of a shift there too.
I guess all those faraway shots without faces finally paid off.
I guess it certainly seemed like they ramped things up here.
We dared asking Miyazaki to stop for a second with the Bob Ross backgrounds, so there's that.
I'm not quite sure if Miyazaki was still around, but yeah, maybe. But yeah, no, good episode. Next.
Go on to.
Yes, really appreciated, but really enjoyed it for what he wanted to tell. Again, we're entering the more heavy phase of the series, so don't be slow on that. Be mentally prepared for things that are about to happen, because now my memories are starting to coming back a bit to when I watched this anime as a kid with my sister. I guess okay, to be honest, Joe, it's not alien invasion material, so it's not like we were traumatized as children. But again, I did generally forgot most of the show, but now things are starting to coming back a bit at the very least. But as for this episode alone, again, really enjoyed it. Like I said at the beginning, this kind of show to me is one that I appreciate more on the artistic side and everything. But again, that being said, it's not like the plot is bad. It's more the fact that, also starting with this, the show will essentially hit you with its realism. And it's not something that I always look forward into literally everything that I watch. So the next episodes are gonna be fun.
Dandy.
Yay!
Pedro.
Yay!
Well, Theo, like I said to Shiroi back in episode 6, it wouldn't be a very accurate portrayal of life if there were only happy times.
I know, Pedro, I know.
Yeah, and I mean, that would actually be a pretty interesting concept for a show, where it's literally only happy times, and that's the vibe, and the vibe you're meant to be getting is, wait a minute, something's not right here. No one's this happy.
I'm pretty sure there is an actual anime that kinda does that it teases you that something bad might happen any second, but nothing actually happens.
And a certain game that came out recently did that at some point, but I won't say which one.
Okay, Pedro.
But to quote Walt Disney, "For every smile, there must also be a tear."
Yeah, no. A tier, not like a whole bunch of them.
Well, let's see.
We're getting the Ghibli tears, guys.
Let's see. The cover of Chicken Little had a smile on it, and there were plenty of tears afterwards.
I mentioned Shigesato Itoi. Remember also what he said: no crying until the end.
What from Chicken Little himself after talking to his dad?
Go on, Pedro.
Go on, Pedro.
Yeah, this is a transition episode that starts combining this with what comes after, specifically 2 episodes for now, is when I'll have a specific talking about the pacing of this show and how it brilliantly portrays that aspect of life. It's not as apparent now, but yeah, this is the first time it becomes somewhat apparent, but at 2 episodes for now, I'll talk more about what happens in this episode because let's just say there's a lot I have to say about the way Takahata praises this show is so brilliant, but for reasons that I will explain 2 episodes from now, which I will cover what happens here as well. So tune in for episode 36, everybody. The future of the Story Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.